go for the accident at 126.
Okay, we'll get lifeguard 1 in the air. Ground contact.
We have a landing zone of North Fork Station 2, and their ground contact will be engine 1232 on Fern.
Awesome. And on North Fork Station 2 in Pine, Colorado, correct?
We have a rollover, the possible broken collarbone.
Okay.
They're having to do an extrication right now.
Lifeguard 1, you're on with St. Anthony's ED. Go with report.
I received a call for Flight for Life for the helicopter on pediatric drowning.
A young man was severely injured at a ski area.
We had a call on Mount Beardstadt.
There was a skier last winter.
This guy had wrecked his motorcycle.
He had tumbled down a snowfield and ended up in the rocks.
He was so incredibly injured.
The patients were truly very close to taking their last few breaths.
I got the flight crew immediately mobilized.
The pilot was able to land up at the saddle of the mountain.
We took him straight to the operating room.
He did survive after months in the ICU.
And we were able to get this person out of there.
Because here's this little guy with his whole life ahead of him. Because Flight for Life and the team at the scene, the fire department and the paramedics, made a difference.
If they would have had to stay up in the mountain or be carried out, that they probably would not have survived.
And there's no doubt in my mind the helicopter saved his life.
Flight for Life, Lifeguard 1 inbound, about 6-minute ETA, pressing a level 1 activation.
Now to a rescue that is simply remarkable, even for rescuers here in Colorado who thought they had seen it all. What started as a fishing trip in a remote area about 50 miles north of Steamboat turned into a 6-day struggle for one man to stay alive.
So I knew he was out on his big adventure for the weekend, but I expected him back on Sunday.
And he was in a very steep spot on the river, and he was wearing a green jacket, I remember.
And I fell and hit an angular rock that was submerged near the run, and it was like a karate chop on my tibia, the lower part of the, below the knee, and the upper part of the tibia. And so I was more or less wallowing around in the creek there for at least 3 nights with really no memory of it.
His core temp was 86 degrees. His heart rate was 30. He was barely conscious and kind of mumbling.
They found him, but we didn't know if he was dead or alive. They said they found him, they found Craig.
I would not have survived the next night, let alone a few hours, if they hadn't got there and mobilized me out.
The efforts by Mountain Rescue and our helicopter made the difference in this guy's life, and that's what saved him.
He's still alive and kicking and dancing today and doing pretty good, and I just know that that's what saved his life.
In this case, you know, Flight for Life was a big component of that survival story.
Lifeguard 3 airborne standby. Highway 9 near Guffey. Roller over MBA. Extrication in progress.
I feel an enormous amount of responsibility for what was started, 20 years before I even started flying, and the standards they set back in the 70s and 80s for the professionalism, the quality, the safety that our customers came to expect. And I don't want that to ever go away.
Flight for Life is a very interesting marriage of transportation and medicine. It's delivering care in a mobile setting, in a very challenging environment with patients who are many times at the most vulnerable point in their entire life. And it's establishing a one-on-one connection with that patient, clinically, psychologically, spiritually sometimes, emotionally, that communicates to that person that regardless of how desperate their straits are, we are there and we are wholeheartedly on their side. And everything we know, every piece of equipment we have, we will bring to bear to help get them through that tough time. That at its heart is what we are.
The program manages somewhere between about 3,700 and 3,800 transports per year, which equates to about 10 to 12 transports a day.
Back in 1972, decided to do that, and that was to bring the emergency room to the patient, no matter where they are, out in the most rural areas, in the worst circumstances, in the worst situations, and be able to start giving them the level of care that they need.
I think understanding what patient care is all about and what the environment is about is really valuable. And it's a very different environment than the in-hospital environment or the ED or even an ambulance environment.
Life for Life Colorado's Garrett.
We need an airborne standby.
Okay, we'll be on standby from St. Anthony.
What sets Flight for Life apart is we are a not-for-profit system. We work out of a not-for-profit hospital system, and we are there truly to serve the patient. We always have a huge need for funding, and each of our sponsoring hospitals has excellent foundations that they help us out.
We rely very heavily on funding from corporations, from individuals, that's administered through our foundation.
I marvel at the level of dedication and the level of caring and compassion that they have to want to be able to go do this and every day get up and come in and want to do this.
Well, people say, how can you do the same job for so many years? But you know, it's not the same job. It's not the same job on any 2 days, but it's also a very different job than it was when I started, just because of the way the program's grown and changed.
I can't imagine not working with these people. Sorry.